So here we have a case where the patient does not speak English and the doctor or the medical staff do not speak Spanish. So we're going to open a brand new file for a brand new patient, and we have some questions in the patient information tab. So we're going to every single one of these questions, and notice that some of them are not questions, some of them are actually instructions that we will give to the patient. But each one of them will have an icon that allows us to play a sound that will basically ask this question in Spanish. So in this case, we are going to welcome the patient and ask for an appointment.
Bienvenido a nuestra clínica. ¿Ya tienes una cita?
Depending on what the patient answers, yes or no, there are going to be additional questions that will be enabled or disabled, but in this case the patient did have an appointment, so we will click yes. Second question, there is no way how we can ask about name, first name, last name, addresses, and all these things, we require an ID, probably the driver license or something like that, so we will ask the patient if they have an ID.
¿Tienes algún documento de identificación?
In this case, the patient has some ID, and we're going to ask them to give it to us.
¿Podría verlo, por favor?
Now, this system is not going to replace the practice management system or the EMR system that the doctor might have already in their office, but at least we need some minimal amount of information to create a patient record. In this case, the basic information will be last name, first name, date of birth, and gender. So we will enter that information and we will say that this patient is male, and we will save the record. The rest of the information in the driver license, such as address and all of these things, will go into the practice management system. And once again, we can ask additional information, or we can actually print in Spanish this questionnaire so the patient can give it to us. And then we will enter all the basic information in this system and all the detailed information in the practice management system. In this case, I need more information from them.
Por favor, escribe en este papel tu número telefónico y el nombre y número de teléfono de una persona que podamos contactar en caso de emergencia.
Okay, let's continue with the questionnaire.
¿Tienes seguro de salud?
In this case, the patient has insurance. We will go to our practice management system, enter all the information. Of course, we will ask the patient first to give it to us.
¿Podría verlo, por favor?
Based on the information that we collect from the insurance company, we might be able to probably type here. In this case, there is a $20 copay, so we will type it and we will need to let the patient know that information. So in this case, I just type the number and then I let the patient know that.
De acuerdo con tu seguro, tienes un copago de $20 y tienes que pagarlos ahora.
Once we are done, we can give more instructions to the patient.
Por favor, siéntate y nosotros te llamaremos cuando estemos listos para verte.
Once the doctor is ready to see the patient, once again we can give more instructions.
Por favor, entra y yo te llevo a la sala de exámenes.
Now notice that we have a lot of tabs here. The patient now goes to the exam room, and the doctor will be able to create their own templates depending on the type of patient. We can have most common asked questions, most common comments, and in this case we're going to be talking about allergies. So we have a list of questions here. Some of them are questions with answers, some of them are just comments, and we can organize, or we can add or delete the questions that we don't want there. In this case, let's start our interview with the patient.
¿Tienes alguna alergia?
If the patient selects no, well, nothing happens and we will continue with the next question. But if the patient selects yes, then there are additional questions and we will start asking this.
¿Eres alérgico a penicilina?
In this case, the patient is allergic to penicillin. We're going to try to record all the positive findings. However, if the doctor decides to record negative findings, it's up to them. But at least we need to record the positive findings. In this case, he is allergic to penicillin.
¿Comida de mar?
Again, he is allergic to that.
¿Plumas?
Once again, if the doctor wants to record negative findings, then we will just click no, and the rest is up to the doctor. Now we will continue here and we are going to ask additional question. Notice in this case that not only based on the answer we're going to have additional question, and based on the additional questions answers we're going to have more questions. So in this case we will ask the patient if they are taking any medication.
¿Estás tomando algún medicamento para tu alergia?
In this case the patient will say sí, meaning yes, and then additional questions will come.
¿Cuál medicamento estás tomando? ¿Epinefrina?
In this case, the patient is going to say no, so there is no need for recording that.
Natocort? Benadryl?
But in this case, the patient is taking Benadryl, so I'm going to select yes. And immediately an additional question will come. In this case, did it work?
¿Esta medicina te hizo sentir mejor?
And the patient probably will say no. And then we will keep scrolling through the whole questionnaire and we will complete the interview with the patient. At the end of the interview, we can go and run a report, and basically not only the positive findings, but also the negative findings will be recorded. Basically, whatever the doctor selected on that interview will be displayed in a kind of a narrative report that can be, of course, printed, emailed, secured, and if you print it, you can actually scan it and put it in your EMR, or you can actually export this directly to your EMR system. And basically, that's the main idea of iSpeakSpanish.